Hey guys, VGame Restaurant V here, back with another video, and today I'm back with some more Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney Justice for All. In the last episode, we began Reunion and Turnabout, in which we reunited with Maya, but as is Ace Attorney fashion, we reunite with Maya while she's accused for murder. Because Maya and Phoenix just can't have a normal adventure in their lives, ever. So, we are here on the first day of the trial. What? Prosecutor Von Karma? You mean... No, I heard it's his successor this time. Successor? Manfred Von Karma was a really sinister man. He pulled all sorts of nasty tricks, all so he could win. He was a man obsessed with the word perfection. He had a perfect record for 40 long years. Who knows what sort of dirty tricks he used to get each of those guilty verdicts. And now, his successor. I wonder what kind of person they'll turn out to be. It's no good. Mystic Maya! Oh, my voice! I wasn't... Okay. I wasn't expecting to switch into, like, the high-pitched Pearl voice, so I think that just, like, kind of threw my... excuse me. That just threw my voice for a loop there. You showed up! Thanks for coming all this way. I was really worried about you. Hey, where's your mother? Did you two come together? Mother is watching over the trainees. She said they have training for 2 days straight with no breaks. Huh? Then you came all by yourself? Yep, I snuck out of the manor and followed the map. Don't tell me you walked all the way here. Of course not. I ran. I can't, oh my. If it takes 2 hours by train, oh man. Pearly, what about the train? Huh? What's a train? I give up. It's time, isn't it? I'm really scared. What if Von Karma tries to do something to me? At least I know Mr. Edgeworth would be nicer to me than Von Karma. Mr. Edgeworth? Who's that? He's Nick's rival. Well, he's also a friend.
Objection!
I still remember him as though I'd only seen him yesterday.
Objection!
Every trial was a scorchingly fierce battle until the very end.
Objection! Objection!
It was always back and forth with them. But when you're rivals for life... Maya! Please don't mention that name ever again. Huh? But why, Nick? I'm sorry, Maya. I forgot you don't know. He's gone. And he's not coming back. What? Oh, wait a second. Well, what's that supposed to mean? Court will commence shortly. Please proceed into the courtroom. Let's go. Now's not time to talk about that anyway. Nick? Oh, there she is! Court is now in session for the trial of Maya Fey. Are the prosecution and the defense prepared? Oh, there she is! What is with this kid? Mr. Wright, are you prepared? Huh? Yes, Your Honor. Why does he always seem mad at me? Mr. Phoenix Wright. You must be a little shocked because I'm a woman, correct? Hold on. So she's the famed successor to Prosecutor Von Karma? I am Francisca Von Karma, the prodigy. I see. I gave up a promising career in Germany and came to this country for one sole reason. Revenge. Revenge? Is this about her father, Manfred Von Karma? If it's something of a personal nature, I'm sure you can... Ow! I'm talking. If you interrupt again, my whip will do the speaking for me. Please speak with your mouth like a normal person. I beg of you. Yow! Make no mistake, I will defeat you. Prepare to go down, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Prosecutor Von Karma, your opening statement, please. Those of Von Karma blood have only one fate, and that is perfection. The defendant, Maya Fey, will find no escape from her guilt on my watch. Very well. What is the defense's position? Your Honor, does the defense wish to enter a plea of not guilty? Yes. Foolish fool who foolishly dreams of foolish dreams. 10 minutes. I give the defense 10 minutes before it changes its plea. That's right. I'll have you running for the justified self-defense plea in no time. Justified self-defense? The plea usually reserved for when a person unintentionally kills in defense of themselves. We could very easily make a solid case that it was self-defense, but... The defense stands by the plea of not guilty, Your Honor. Because the plea justified self-defense doesn't say you did kill someone. How foolish. If that is how you want to play it, Mr. Phoenix Wright, then I shall now call the first witness. She's just as scary as her father. Like father, like daughter, I suppose. Witness, your name and occupation? Yes, sir. My name is Dick Cumshoe. I'm a detective at the local prison. Yeah! Get to the point already. Explain to the court the details of this murder. Yes, sir. If everyone would please look at this map. The jailing chamber has no windows and the door was locked shut. At the time of the murder, only the victim and the defendant were in the room. What were they doing in there? They were channeling a spirit, sir. Channeling a spirit? That's quite the look of disbelief there, Your Honor. Anyways, a few minutes after the channeling started, gunshots were heard coming from inside the room, sir. A few of the witnesses broke the door down and rushed into the room. And that's when they found the victim was already dead, correct? I believe this is one of the most open and shut cases I've ever presided over. So, how was the victim killed? I was about to get to that. Stop wasting my time, then. Alright, here's our first real testimony of this game. The direct cause of death was a pistol shot to the forehead, sir. The shot was fired from point-blank range. But before the victim was shot, sir, he was stabbed in the chest. The wound was very severe, but not enough to cause instantaneous death. The murderer used the pistol to finish the victim off after the stabbing. So the victim was stabbed before being shot. This is the victim's autopsy report, sir. The court accepts it into evidence. Mr. Wright, you may question the witness. Alright, so if y'all remember from the previous game, you have two options when it comes to statements. You have press and present. Press, you ask for more details. Present, you present a piece of evidence that contradicts the statement that was given. And unravel what sorts of lies there may be. For this, you gotta press every single statement. The murder weapon, Detective Cumshoe, whose pistol was it? It was the victim's. The victim? Now, why would he have a pistol? Who cares? The point you are missing is whose fingerprints are on that pistol. If you're not already paying attention to that, then I suggest you start. Fingerprints? There were fingerprints? Along with the victims, the defendant, Maya Fey's, were also on the grip, sir. So the defendant's fingerprints were left on the murder weapon. I walked right into her hands there. Alright, that's okay, we press the next statement. Point blank, huh? So, about how far away is that? It's anywhere between 12 to 20 inches away. And how do you know he was shot at point blank? Mr. Phoenix Wright, I grow tired of the foolish foolery of the foolish fools of this foolish country. Excuse me? Gunpowder burn. Gunpowder burn? When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Gunpowder exploding was what makes a bullet fire, and that gets real hot, pal. And there were definitely some gunpowder burns left on the victim's forehead. Wow, never knew that. Live and learn, I guess. But before the victim was shot, he was stabbed. Stabbed, and what was he stabbed with? A fruit knife. I see. And whose knife was it? It looks like it belongs to the face, sir. And, of course, my face fingerprints are all over it. All over it. Ugh, this does not look good. What will you do now, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Alright. You gotta press every single statement. I know this is tedious, but you gotta accept. You gotta press every single statement. How severe was the wound? If it had been half an inch more to the right, it would have hit the victim's heart. After a stab like that, it's impossible to fight back, let alone stand. This testimony makes it sound like Maya had stabbed him with the intent to kill. Alright, finish the victim off with the pistol. Are you sure he was stabbed first, then shot? Yup, sure as sure can be. One look at the wounds and you'd come to the same conclusion too, pal. A fool is a fool who will only listen to the foolish opinions of other foolish fools. A pistol shot to the forehead at point blank is certainly enough to kill instantly. Does it matter then which was first? Think a little more before you open that big mouth of yours, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Ugh, what a pain. That's enough. You've clearly established how the victim was murdered. I brought the 2 murder weapons with me today. Very well, the court accepts them into evidence. Alright, we got the pistol and the knife. The date and time of death was June 19th at 3:15 p.m. Eyewitnesses claim to have heard 2 gunshots at this time. And 2 murder weapons, both with the defendant's fingerprints on them. This does seem like an open and shut case. Naturally. This is going from bad to worse. As if the summary just now wasn't oversimplifying things to the extreme. Your Honor, feel free to slam that little gavel of yours. After all, there's no room left for doubt, is there? That is quite true. Mr. Wright. Yes? Even in the face of all this, do you still wish to plead not guilty? It is the opinion of this court that if you do not adjust your plea, you stand to lose. See, just as I promised, Mr. Phoenix Wright, you would change your plea in less than 10 minutes. What will you do, Mr. Wright? Will you change to justified self-defense? Because now would be the time to do so. This is your final chance. This is a huge decision. You better think this through all the way. Plead justified self-defense or plead not guilty. We are going to plead not guilty, so... If we plead justified self-defense, we would basically be confessing to murder. After the trial, Maya's life would be ruined, and she'd be labeled a murderer. I can't let that happen. Your Honor! Have you reached a conclusion, Mr. Wright? The defense will not change its plea. We will accept nothing short of a complete acquittal. You have sealed your fate, Mr. Wright. Detective! Yes, sir! Present the final portion of your testimony. The final strike. Yes, sir. Now see here, proceedings are run by... Oh, yes, of course. Go ahead, detective, and give your testimony. I think the court would like to hear about the other piece of incriminating evidence. Alright. Sorry, pal, but there's an even more incriminating piece of evidence. This is the costume the defendant was wearing at the time of the crime. As you can see, it's covered in blood, and it also has a hole on it. The defendant attacked and killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. So, this is the costume. There certainly is evidence of what? There certainly is evidence of a back spray of blood on this. What is a back spray of blood? This piece directly links my FA to the crime, sir. I see. The court accepts it into evidence. Alright, Mr. Wright. Maya's fingerprints on both murder weapons and blood splatters on her clothes. Could this situation get any worse? What's wrong? You seem to be at a loss. I think this is the last piece of testimony the prosecution should have to offer. Feel free to sulk off with your tail between your legs, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Please stop calling me by my full name. It's disturbing. Alright, obviously there's stuff wrong in this statement. Come on. This is the Ace Attorney game. There's something wrong with this statement. And we have to press on this one, I believe? There's blood on the costume. Lab results show that it's the victim's blood. So there was blood from the victim on the defendant's clothes. Definitely not good. So, were there any other clues you could glean from this piece of evidence? Well... If you must change the topic, then the good detective here must testify again. But too bad. Not enough time. Let's move on. Yes, Ms. Von Karma is perfectly correct. Not even the judge is on her side. But if I bite off more than I could chew here, what should I do? Press further or let it go? Press further. There's something on that piece of costume that's a bit suspicious. Why is Von Karma putting up resistance? There must be a reason as to why she suddenly threw out an objection like that. There must be something about this costume. I just have to look harder. Mr. Wright, Ms. Von Karma's logic is perfect. There's no way for you to poke a hole in it. Looks like my time is up. So, about the costume, there is one little thing. Your Honor, actually, there is something very wrong with this piece of evidence. What? What are you talking about, pal? Where is this problem you're talking about? We've come this far. There's no turning back now. The problem I have with this piece of evidence is here. Alright, so same as the previous, you're gonna move to a lower screen. You can move your little cursor to right over that hole that's on the costume. I asked the court to please take a look at the sleeve of this costume. The sleeve? There is a tiny hole here. A hole? But that wasn't in the report. Hold on. What's this around the hole? It smells faintly of gunpowder. Gunpowder? No one ever told me! A hole that smells of gunpowder. It looks like I found the hole I was looking for. Your Honor, the only logical conclusion you can make is that it must be a bullet hole. Order! 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 This is a very grave matter. It is best we correct the court record first before anything else. Sorry about that. I guess you messed up, sir. Is she actually smiling? What else is she hiding? Pull yourself together, detective. That tiny hole doesn't change a thing. The strength of the evidence still holds. Continue with your testimony. That, just now, was a fluke. Nothing more.
Objection!
How can you say something like that? This is a huge oversight. Well, I agree it is a mistake on part of the police. What Prosecutor Von Karma has said is true. The evidence still stands. If you do not find a more definitive problem with the evidence, then... No way! Detective Gumshoe, please continue with your testimony. Yes, sir. That's perfectly fine because now we actually have something to object to. You are going to present... I can't press the button. No! That's not the button I wanted to press. I want to press the present button, and I'm going to present Maya's costume.
Objection!
Detective Dick Gumshoe. Yes? Having you call me by my full name is kind of a weird feeling. You said that my client killed a person who, without a doubt, was not fighting back. Yeah, I did. Then what, may I ask, is this bullet hole you police overlooked supposed to mean? What does it mean? I'll tell you what it means. It means that the victim had fired off a shot. Is this what it means to not fight back? You're right. It seems you are correct. If the victim had tried to shoot the defendant, then it would change everything. All right. The wind seems to be shifting. Is with that, are you finished with laugh? Are you finished yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Miss Von Karma? It seems that Maya Fey was shot at by the victim. However, that only grounds enough to support a justified self-defense plea. That is correct. But I'm sure you remember, Your Honor, what the defense has clearly said. They rejected justified self-defense and pleaded not guilty. Now that you... Why, that's right. Which means the defense has yet to prove anything at all. Well, yes, that's true. Furthermore, just the fact that there was a bullet hole in the costume is not enough to substantiate even a plea of justified self-defense. Huh? How so? Ah! Don't just stand there. Hurry up and tell the court what transpired that day. With the new information we acquired added in, of course. Huh? You mean by myself? You want me to put together the scenario all by myself? Yeah. Yes, sir. Right away, sir. During the channeling, the defendant saw her chance to stab the victim in the chest. Of course, the victim used the last of his strength to fight back, sir. While the two were fighting, the victim took out his gun. The victim took a shot, but because they were too close, he missed. The defendant then picked up the opening, took the victim's gun, and ended it. The scenario you've put together does make sense. Yes, sir. Well, Mr. Wright, on the surface it does seem to make sense. However, I won't give up that easily. Please refrain from glaring at me like that. Now then, your cross-examination, please. Well, we already have something that we can object to here. We already have something we can object to. 1, 2, 3, 4... And we're going to present Maya's costume on this statement. Missing the tiny hole on this costume will be the prosecution's undoing. Huh? What do you mean? This little hole has actually created a huge hole in your testimony. Explain yourself, Mr. Wright. You said the two of them were fighting when the victim fired his gun at point blank. If that were true, then where's the gunpowder burn on this costume? Gunpowder burn? This is what you testified earlier. When something is shot from point blank, a burn area is left around the bullet hole. Oh! But there's not a single trace of gunpowder burn on this costume. That is a very good point. And what exactly does this mean? It means that when the shot was fired, they were standing apart from each other.
Objection!
I'm disappointed, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You think you can punch a hole in my logic with that? With wishy-washy thinking like that, anyone can explain anything away. Then I implore you to disprove my lack of thinking. Let's see. In the middle of their fight, the victim pushed the defendant away And it was then, when they were separated, that he fired. How is that?
Objection!
As if that was even possible. According to the testimony, the wound from the stabbing was severe. The victim would not have had the strength to push the defendant very far after that. Well, then, that's right. The defendant must have pushed the victim away. After stabbing him, she must have put some space between the doctor and herself. And then, while she was preparing to strike again, the doctor took his shot. There, that should satisfy even you. That does make an awful lot of sense. What do you think, Mr. Wright? I must be careful. I can't afford to make a mistake here. Concentrate and think. It makes sense or something doesn't make sense. Something doesn't make sense. There is a fatal flaw in her argument, sir, Your Honor. Whoa, not sir. Fatal flaw? Yo! Very interesting. I would love to see where this flaw is. Show me something that contradicts my explanation. There has to be a snag in her explanation somewhere. She put some distance between them before rushing to make the final blow. And when she was about to strike, the doctor took a shot. There must be a piece of evidence that contradicts this line of thinking. There is! There's the folding screen! This is the piece of evidence that destroys your logic. What is that? A folding screen? I would like to point the court's attention to the hole in the folding screen. It looks like you already know what I'm talking about. Who? Where? What? Mr. Wright, your explanation, please. Are these two really that clueless? The bullet went through the defendant's sleeve first, then the folding screen. It passed through at a height of approximately 8 inches off the ground. That's definitely not 10. Which means, when the shot was fired, the defendant was not getting ready to strike, but was actually squatting low to the ground. Order! Order! This changing is everything. Please look at this diagram of the crime scene. The victim, Dr. Gray, was here when he fired the shot. And the bullet hit this folding screen. It hit at this location, about 8 inches off the ground. At this time, the defendant was in this area. So, we gotta really... Now here's the thing with this presenting on a map thing, is that it's kind of finicky. And you really have to be in this very specific area for it to actually register your press or your area selection as correct, otherwise it causes it wrong. So the area you have to select is just left of where that hole on the folding screen is.
Take that!
Okay, yeah, okay. I just wanted to make sure it actually went through. Wait a second. We know the defendant was close to the ground based on the height of the bullet hole. But how can you gauge the distance from that? Isn't it possible that the defendant was standing much closer to the victim? That's impossible. But why? You, of all people, should know the answer to that question, Ms. Von Karma. If she were shot at from somewhere closer, there would be gunpowder points present. However, there is nothing of the sort around the bullet hole of this costume. Curse you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You... I believe it has now been proven that the defendant was standing a ways away from the victim when she was shot at. But do you think this has changed the defendant's situation? It changes everything. Honestly, Your Honor, this changes everything. The prosecution has claimed that the defendant was aiming to kill by stabbing. If that were true, delivering the final strike with a knife would be ideal. However, where and what was the defendant doing at the time? Squatting all the way by the folding screen? Exactly. If Maya Fey was the real murderer, why would she be by the folding screen instead of preparing to strike? Upon further consideration, it does make very little sense. Yeah, I figured there had to be a reason. Figuring things out and proving the logic behind everything is your job. Ugh. Alright, with this, the rest of the trial should be in the... Blast radius of disaster. You are such a smart man, Mr. Phoenix, right? To think that you've been able to take a completely hopeless case to this point? Now I know why Papa had such a time with you. Tough time with you. You amuse me. Of all the things to inherit, why did it have to be that smarmy smile? Detective, how dare you damage my perfect logic? Huh? How is it all my fault? You can start repairing your standing by first removing that 3-strand goatee. Oh, and rest assured your punishment will come later. Punishment? Well then, Your Honor, I think I've had all I can take of this detective's face. I think it's time to call in the next witness. Next witness? That's gotta be Lotta. Very well. The court will take a 5-minute recess. After we reconvene, we will hear from the next witness. Pretty early to take a recess, huh? I can probably get the next part of it into this video. You know what? Yeah, sure. I'll shove the next part of this trial day into this video. Alright. We'll shove both into one, and we'll see how it works out. Phew. That was a close one. I know you're giving it your all to defend me, but I could feel the death penalty hanging in the air. I felt like I was pretty close to dying myself. But you were wonderful out there. You listened carefully, made theories, and tricked everyone into believing you. Thanks. Wait, tricked? That must be the lawyer's secret technique, right? By the way, is the next witness who I think it is? Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Lotta Hart. Oh, guess there's no escaping her, huh? Remember, Nick, you promised you'd save me. If you lose, me and my sister's ghosts are going to come after you and haunt you. Your sister? Are you talking about Mystic Mia? Yeah. Do you remember her, Pearly? My sister was a super good lawyer. She was also Nick's teacher. Oh, I didn't know that. Alright, let's hear Lotta's testimony. Oh, she's not here yet. Court will now reconvene. Now, the first order of... Ow! I don't want to hear it, old man. After I call my witness, sit there quietly and watch like a good little boy. Yes, sir. Bring in the photographer who witnessed the channeling. Bow, bow. Witness, your name and occupation, if you please. Hey, Phoenix, how you doing? Just fine. Sorry about this. Didn't exactly have a choice, you know. Yowza! Name and occupation. I declare, what in tarnation? Hey, Judge, this here is violence against my fair self. That's fine. That's fine? That ain't fine, that's a whip. There's no need for foolish outcries from foolishly foolish fools. Just hurry up and testify about what happened on the day of the murder. I haven't even gotten to say my name and job yet. The name's Lotta Hart, paranormal photographer, and I'm here to testify. Now, let's all be one big happy family. Okay? Only the doctor and the defendant went into the channeling chamber. We were waiting outside the door, then bang! We hear this gunshot. Mr. Lawyer there broke the door down, and we rushed into the room. Inside was a dead victim and the defendant waving a pistol around. I swear, other than those two, there was no one else in that room. And did you take a picture of the scene right after the murder took place? Reckon course. Huh? Excuse me? Reckon course. It's short for you reckon? Of course I did. Does it look like I care? Just hurry up and show your picture to the court. Moment of truth. What'll be in that picture? Let's see here. This here's the picture. Oh, that's not good. It would certainly seem that only the defendant and the victim were in the room. Are you ready, Mr. Phoenix Wright? I will clear all doubt about Maya through this cross-examination. Just watch me. So, same thing as Gumshoe's statement. We have to press on every single statement here. Every single statement you gotta press. Was it really only those two that went in? What are you blabbering about? You were there too, were you not? Ugh. Why don't you answer that yourself? Was it really just the two of them? Yes. Dr. Gray and Maya were the only two that went into the room. Hold on, we can't have the defense testifying against its own client. Anyway, folks, only the two of them went into the chamber, you hear? But you knew that from the very beginning, didn't you? Witness, continue. Press every statement. It's tedious, but you have to press every statement in order to get some progression here. Was it really a gunshot? Are you insane? You must have heard it as well. Why don't you testify for the court, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Was it really a gunshot? Yes, I think it was something that sounded like a gunshot. And why are we here listening to the defense testify? And the world becomes just a little crueler. I heard a gunshot a long time ago, so I know. And I tell you, that was a gunshot I heard. Now this is where the story heats up.
Hold it!
So, let me get this straight. It's so stupid. Why do we have to do this? Why does this feel like an inquisition? You sound like okay. Okay. I don't know why we have to press every single statement. That makes no sense. Anyways, are you sure it was the defendant Maya Fey? Sure, I'm sure. Lana seems awful confident in her testimony. Press harder, Leary. Press harder. Lana, please, think back to that day one more time. What you getting at? Remember what you said when we broke into the room? Lana, at a time like this? Times like this are perfect for snapping up shots. But anyway, what's going on here? This gal, is she Maya? When you saw the murderer at that time, you couldn't even tell if it was Maya Fey or not. Am I correct? Well, you see... Order. Miss Hart, you are here to present accurate testimony. Yeah, sorry. Good. This shifts things back to my side. For a defense lawyer, your defense is terribly lacking, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Witness, think back to when those two entered the channeling chamber. When they entered, one of those people that entered the chamber was Maya Fey, correct? Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it was Maya that went in. It looks like we've come to a collective conclusion. The person in this picture is most certainly Maya Fey. Exactly. Rats. I'm trapped like one. Again. Alright, you got press on one last statement. Are you absolutely certain of that? Sure I am. But that old witch chased us out of the room, so... Old witch? Does she mean Morgan Fey? But there was no one else in there, and you know it. The channeling chamber was very dark, almost pitch black. Was there really no one else in there? What about behind the folding screen, behind the door, under the flooring? Behind the flooring screen. Folding screen. What about behind the folding screen? Did you check back there? Rick Given? Huh? What in the... Rick Given, you know, you reckon that's a given. I took me a good look around the room once. There was no way anyone was hanging out behind that folding screen. If I may have a word with you, Miss Hart. Well, what? You got a problem? Rick Given, I mean, I'm having a little difficulty in understanding you. If you would stop saying such things as what... Now then, Mr. Phoenix Wright, do you see a problem with the testimony, or don't you? Ah, just as I thought, there was nothing wrong with her testimony. I was with her, so I know she's telling the truth. Enough. It seems that there are no issues with Miss Hart's testimony. At the time of the crime, only 2 people were in the channeling chamber. The victim, Dr. Turner Gray, and the defendant, Maya Fey. The face of the defendant cannot be verified in this picture. However, if we think about the circumstances, it would have to be the defendant. What am I going to do? If I just let this go... What is it, Mr. Wright? You look as if you have something to say. If I make one wrong move, I'm going to have the judge against me. Is there anything I could present that would prove it's not Maya on that photo? Present evidence or can't present? You can't present anything yet. If you did try, you wouldn't get anywhere. Well, Mr. Wright? Nothing, Your Honor. That's very smart of you, Mr. Phoenix Wright. You really should give up trying to prove this is not Maya Fey. I didn't say anything about giving up. I just don't have the right piece of evidence to prove my argument. That's enough. Is this it? Is this all I could do? I think it is quite obvious to the court that a verdict of not guilty is not possible. I told you. Totally 100% impossible. Miss Von Karma, do you have any further questions for this witness? Having established the defendant's guilt, further questioning won't be needed. Well, what about the defense? No further questions, I presume? I couldn't protect Maya. The defense... Phoenix, you can't make that kind of face. A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. Mia! I guess I made it just in time, wouldn't you say? What? Pearls! Her clothes are a bit small. Anyway, what are you waiting for, Phoenix? Let's go. But how? She's already taken away my every advantage. The advantage is still in your hand. Think carefully one more time about what you saw in the channeling chamber. Do you remember what you told me yesterday? Dr. Gray! What? Lotta, at a time like... Okay, I'm not reading this again. You see? There's one final piece of this puzzle. Mia? Question Lotta one more time, Phoenix. I don't know if she's doing it unconsciously or on purpose, but she's not testifying truthfully. No, this court would like to end the cross-examination period. Please wait, Your Honor. The defense would like to request that the witness testify one more time. Overruled. I'm afraid you're too late, Mr. Wright. The cross-examination is already ended. Furthermore, It's fine. I'll allow another testimony. Von Karma's case is perfect. Absolutely flawless. And what better time than this for you to see that? But, I mean, I have some place I must go after this. All right, I'll allow it. Miss Hart, hurry and give us another testimony. Well, heck, what am I supposed to talk about? Please tell us once more, what happened when you burst into the channeling chamber? Okay, you got it. See, you got through to the judge somehow, right? Well, actually, it was Von Karma's whip that got through to him. Yeah, but we're not worrying about the details. Don't worry about that right now. That's not important. Move on to the testimony. When we broke into that room, all I could focus on was Maya. I was, kind of scared of the dead body, so I didn't get a good look at it. I'm really bad when it comes to blood and ghosts and stuff. But I still managed to point my camera at Maya and take a shot. Nothing sounds different from before. Some parts of her testimony are really vague. I should press her on those sections. Struggle all you like as you taste the bitterness of your defeat. Well, amuse me with your useless questions, Mr. Phoenix, right? I'm waiting. Well, there's definitely one thing we could press her on immediately. Da-da-da-da, and... where is it? There we go. 2, right? Two what? 2 shots. You took 2 shots. But only one has been submitted as evidence. Miss Hart, where is the other picture you've been withholding? No, you've got it all wrong. It's not me. I didn't mean anything bad. I know it could be a little mean, but I hate evil. Well, at least she knows herself. Then why have you not shown us this other picture to the court yet? Well, ain't it obvious? The prosecutor woman told me to shut my trap about it. What? Von Karma! Miss Von Karma, you're hiding critical evidence. Unforgivable, Von Karma. Suppressing evidence like this, you're as bad as your father. Confront Francisca or leave it to the judge. So, in this scenario, it doesn't really matter what you pick, but confronting Francisca is funny. Your Honor, the defense asked that Prosecutor Von Karma be held in contempt of court. Me? In contempt of court? You can't be serious. But you hid evidence from the court on purpose. That's not fair. Phoenix, are you a lawyer or a school child? I was so angry I lost my composure. Miss Von Karma, would you care to explain yourself to this court? I thought this picture was not important, and thus felt no need to submit it. That's all. How could you think? The pictures were more or less the same, so why bother with the second? I mean, it's just so much more trouble than it's worth for me to submit this as evidence. More trouble than it's worth? How can you say that? If you want to see it that badly, I'll submit it. Let's take a look at the photo. Okay, come on. It shows the face. What is this picture? It's obviously the second picture the witness took the day of the crime, at the scene of the crime. Well, it's a little off-center, but that's what you get with a nervous amateur. I think the important point here is that the person in this picture. This is most definitely not Maya Fey. What is the meaning of this? This might be the break I was looking for. Now, should I or shouldn't I insist that the person in the picture is not Maya? So, and again, it also doesn't matter what you pick here, because one way or another, the same thing happens. So, we can insist that it's not Maya, or we can drop the issue. The fastest thing to do is to drop the issue, and you'll see why in a sec. It's no good. You've been through this so many times. This is not like you, Mr. Wright. Why are you not objecting? The person in this photo is clearly not the defendant, and yet... There's no way he can raise an objection and hope to live. Explain yourself. Your Honor, I would like for you to take a look at this picture. This was taken yesterday at the detention center's visitors room. This is Mr. Phoenix Wright and the defendant, Maya Fey, during his visit. Maya Fey? But isn't this a totally different person? She looks this way because she is obviously in the middle of channeling a spirit. It's unbelievable that she can... Yet, it is the truth. When Maya Fey is in that state, she physically changes into the person she's calling. Miss Von Karma, a word if I may. Mia? Taking pictures of someone during a private visit is illegal. Surely you must know that the picture can't be submitted as evidence. Obviously, I know this picture is illegal, but I never intended to submit it as evidence in the first place. What is she? From the moment I showed this picture to the court, this case became all mine. After all, this image has now been forever burned into the judge's mind. I don't even have a single witty line. It looks like we've been had. I don't claim to understand this, and I still cannot believe it. Are you saying that this person is the defendant Maya Fey? If I give up here, the trial will end. But if I slip up and say something wrong, it'll cost me. Is there any way I can prove that the person in this picture is not Maya? You actually can prove it. Your Honor! Oh, the fire has returned to your eyes, I see. This picture. Within this picture lies a critical contradiction to all the testimony up until now. A contradiction? So, you think you've spotted a problem with this picture? Then earn your keep. Why don't you point out exactly what's so strange in this picture for the court? So you actually have to point out the left sleeve. It's going to be Maya's left sleeve. Quote-unquote Maya's left sleeve. Is what you have to point out. Around where the hole was on the other costume that was given. That's like around the area where you have to point out.
Take that!
Please direct your attention here. To the sleeve? But anything odd about it. And that is exactly what is so odd. Something that should be there is suddenly missing. Should be there? Ah! There was a bullet hole in the sleeve of the defendant's costume. If that's the case, then it should be in this picture as well. Miss Von Karma, you intended to hide this valuable piece of evidence? You will most certainly be assigned a penalty for this. Alright, this should do some major damage to her argument. Don't celebrate yet. You like to bring down the mood, don't you? Take a look at Miss Von Karma's face. Ah, she's got that condescending grin plastered all over her face again. Jumping the gun again, I see. Your Honor, I would like to extend an apology on behalf of those incompetent fools. What do you mean? And what incompetent fools? If those fools down in the precinct hadn't missed the bullet hole, I would have gotten a report about it. As I didn't, I could not have known that this picture was of any value to the case. I see. She's lying through her teeth. I know it. That woman knew about everything. The bullet hole, the picture, everything. But you can't prove that. Francisco Von Karma's idea of a perfect case is quite fascinating, don't you think? Your Honor, you need not worry. If you must assign a penalty, I'll personally make sure that the detective gets what's coming. I'm sure there'll be a great gnashing of teeth at his next salary discussion. Poor Gumshoe. In any case, this is a very big problem. When the defendant was taken into custody, her costume had a bullet hole in its sleeve. However, from this photo, it would appear that right after the shooting, there was none. The judge is confused by the strange twist of events. This is your chance, Phoenix. Load all you've got into this one shot, alright? Got it! Watch this, Maya. Your Honor! There's only one logical explanation for the contradiction. The picture is fake, the bullet hole is made later, or the shooter is someone else. The shooter is someone else. The defendant's sleeve had a bullet hole in it. However, this person's clearly does not. There can be only one explanation. The person who shot Dr. Gray was not the defendant, but a different person altogether. What? Order! 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 If orders are restored, I will suspend this trial. Ow! Ah! Why me? The defense's argument is a complete mess. A complete mess? I fail to see how. Please enlighten us. Hey, witness! the heck? Is that any way to ask a gal a favor? Be quiet, you. You were the one who said it was only the two of them when you entered the room. Well, you know, if you are lying, I swear that my whip will be the last thing you see. Look, sis, you're looking mighty scary, so why don't we say you... Ah! I swear, I wasn't lying or nothing. There wasn't anyone else in there, honest. You see? Now riddle me this, Phoenix Wright. Where did the defendant vanish to? And where did this other woman appear from? Why is it lately all I want to do is cry? Well, if the person in this picture is not the defendant, then this poses two very big questions. First, where did the defendant vanish to? And second, where did this person come from? That's right! Now hurry up and answer, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Come on, you can't fall apart here, Phoenix Wright. I can't believe that even Mia's calling me by my full name. But, I mean, how am I supposed to prove something like this? Had enough yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright? Or do you think you have enough in you to turn things around even now? To turn things around? That's right! Mia would always turn things around and change her perspective. Phoenix? So, where did this intruder appear from, and where did Maya disappear to? I need to look at this situation from a different angle. Let's see. What if before we broke in, the third person was already in the room? And what if Maya had left the room somehow? If I can prove that either of those conditions were true... Mr. Wright, let's hear what you've come up with. I think what happened before we forced our way into the channeling chamber is... a third person had entered it, Maya had left the room, or something I can't explain yet. Maya had left the room. Maya had left the channeling chamber at some point. And the defense can prove this. Oh, how a foolish fool makes a foolish face while dreaming of foolishly foolish dreams. Maya Fey was being looked after by her aunt, Morgan Fey. The chances of her leaving that crime scene is lower than that detective's salary. Anyway, let's see some evidence. Prove that from the murderer until the time of arrest, the defendant had left the room. The black key. Present the black key. Miss Hart, do you remember this key? Well, I've seen it. Hey, that's the channeling chamber key, right? Before the channeling started, Maya locked the door from the inside with that. The defendant herself locked the door? Yeah, that's why we all couldn't go get the door open. That key's only one of a kind, after all. Oh, one of a kind, you say? Wait, Mr. Phoenix Wright. Yes, it looks like she's catching on. I'm afraid to ask, but why is that key currently in your possession? Huh? What do you mean? If Maya Fey locked herself in, then the key should have been with her. Yes, agreed. However, she did not have the key at the time of her arrest. Ah! Well, ain't that a kick? So how come you're holding it? I got this as a present from a certain little girl. And that little girl was nowhere near the crime scene at the time. That's preposterous. This means that Maya Fey must have left the room. If she had not, then I would not be holding this key you see before you. No! It seems we have come to an impasse. This picture has clearly captured the face of the murderer. However, is this person the defendant or not? The defense is arguing that this person is not the defendant. Furthermore, as proof, this key has been submitted as evidence. Miss Von Karma. How can this be? At this point in time, a verdict on the defendant guilt is not possible. My perfect case! How is there a flaw in my perfect case? Don't think you've won yet, Mr. Phoenix Wright. I am a prodigy. I have never lost a case. And I don't intend to lose here in this courtroom to a fool like you. I don't care what I have to do. I will get my guilty verdict. That's enough. If you would like to continue, do so in the lobby. Court will reconvene tomorrow at 10 a.m. That is all. Court is adjourned. Whew. Wow! That was you, Pearly? You summoned my sis? Yes. I felt I had no choice. Great going, Pearly. I knew you were special. Hey, Nick, did you know? Yeah. It's not like anyone else in there could have done that. Nick. I know you're trying really hard and all, but I really don't remember ever leaving that room. And I don't think that a third person could have gone into that room. Yeah. Well, at least we have until tomorrow to figure things out. Like, what happened in that room, for instance. Yeah, I'm counting on you. I envy the two of you. Oh, by the way, Nick, do you think you could take Pearly back home for me? Sure. All right, Pearls. You ready to go buy some tickets? Uh-huh. A ticket? Poor thing. So sheltered. And so our investigation will continue in the next episode because we're not done with this trial just yet. We have quite a bit to go, actually. But that is all for this episode, so I hope you guys have enjoyed. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye!